Before we begin, you brought an album with you of Gunnar's. Maybe you want to say something about it before we open it up and play it.
Yeah. So I work in the archive of the Appel, and one of the friends of Gunnar came to look at the book of John Cage, and we had the book. We found it, and then he said, "Oh, there's this record of Gunnar, and Gunnar wants you to have it." And I know Gunnar because I don't know him that well, to be honest, but he was just one of the residents of the Broedplaats Lely,
where the Appel is located.
Yes. And he's nice. He even one or two times joined movements. We do the Qigong classes on Wednesday nights.
On Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Yes.
For those interested.
Yeah. He joined, and he has a nice, all the time we were talking a bit, and he used to be cleaning.
He cleaned the building.
Yeah. And I'm a late worker, so I start a bit later in the morning, and then I leave at 8 or 9, and then in the evening he used to be on his own cleaning the building, and then we had a little talk, like, "Oh, can I walk here? Oh, this is wet. Doesn't matter, you know what you're doing." The cleaner, and he has a nice energy. So I was really happy with this album, and then you invited me for this, and I thought, oh, it's so nice to have this as a surprise, to listen to it and to see what it is, because I was told by this friend that it is about the building and Broedplaats Lely and his work as a janitor in that building. So it's really connected, and the building, the Broedplaats Lely, of course, is the beautiful building by architect Inversum, but it is a Broedplaats, so nothing works, everything collapses. It's old, it's cold, it's one pane glass, it's windy, there's all kinds of things, but beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's made a monument now.
Yeah.
The aula, which has a curved roof, and the stairwell in the back is also monumental. So now they're gonna rebuild it.
The redevelopment will start soon, no?
Yeah.
And development around it is ongoing.
Yeah.
But that Broedplaats Lely itself will begin soon.
Yeah. So I think the Appel moved there, Broedplaats Lely, in 2017. And Gunnar, who's an Icelandic artist, he was there the first 3 years, I think, or 4 years, because he left to go back to Iceland again. Also because this building was only for 3 years, since 2017, but then every year was postponed a year, prolonged. So this is killing for an institute like the Appel, but also for artists
who are based there.
Because you don't know. And also, it was always like in December you hear like, oh no, you can stay a year longer.
Yeah.
But you cannot do anything, you cannot plan. And if you, the artist, it's also their house. So
studio and residence.
Yeah. So when they, when you have this feeling that you're not going to have a house in 6 months, and it's Amsterdam, it's so hard to find a house. You're always busy with panicking in where to go. So it's never rest in this for the artist and also for the Appel.
Hard
cannot plan, cannot have a vision.
Yeah, you can't build on precarity.
No,
it's difficult.
Yeah.
So Gunnar, in this time of intermediacy, I suppose, between the things, was both living, working, and caretaker of the building.
Yeah.
All at once.
Yeah.
The album itself is called A Janitor's Manifesto. So we haven't mentioned that yet, but I think that's a very interesting and clear title, also related to Willem de Ridder being a Fluxus artist, and the Fluxus Manifesto being itself a very interesting one. What do you say? We listen to a track?
Yes.
Well, first, we're going to open the record. You have the honors now. So hold on, let me get it.
Yeah.
And while you're opening it, I'm going to set up the record player because we're going to play it on. We're going to play the vinyl, and hope that works out. So we'll turn up the sound nice and juicy so we can hear that plastic.
Did you see the design? Like the house design of the Appel body recognized this triangle. And I asked Gunnar, but it wasn't...
It was a coincidence.
Yeah, it was not meant, I think.
I think anybody listening now, this is a non-visual radio program, but I invite you to look up... a
janitor manifesto.
A janitor's manifesto. And also, Gunnar's work is available on various sites online, including SoundCloud. All right, hold on, Nell. I'm going to do the record player. Just a sec.
Yeah. I have to use my nails. Okay. Oh, there's a white... how do you call it? Sleeve? No?
A white sleeve, yeah.
Yeah, with a picture. With cheese.
Can you describe? Yeah, you describe.
And clay figurines. A lying person. White clay. A triangle. Geotriangle. Geodriehoek. No idea. A little vase. A vase with flowers. And some molds for... in white clay for making clay. A glove and a stone with holes. And the cheese is on the mirror, a blue cheese. Okay.
And the first track that we're going to play is called Janitor. And we'll speak about it when we finish it.
Yeah.
Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Janitor. So you told me a good story actually about this track, why it's called Janitor. Or at least I thought it was an interesting anecdote.
No, but I don't know. But when I hear this, I see this Gunnar mopping the floor.
This is so the tempo.
The tempo.
This lethargic tempo is the movement of the mop from left to right.
Yeah, and also the emptiness of the building in the evening.
Yeah.
And he was there all alone. And he's like a pretty big guy, tall. And then he had a long mop, so he could do the really long strokes.
Right. And maybe also interesting to note for those that don't know the building, this brutalist design, there's not many of them in Amsterdam left, especially from Ingwersen. It kind of fits also this image I have in my head at night.
Yeah.
This surplus of concrete. Did you get a chance to speak to him about it, the album, before he left?
No. So I think the friend that came, the friend he works. It's from the label Futura Resistenza. And I emailed Gunnar about it. Hey, I have your record, but I'm not gonna open it until this. I'm gonna talk to a hype.
No reply yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We have been talking or emailing. Yeah, he was looking forward. So I'll let you know when it's online.
So as an archivist, I mean, we just mentioned how much the Appel has. The digitalization of the archive is ongoing. These kind of gifts, offers, some things are also acquired, actively searched. The role of, for the sake of this program also, of the non-visual in this, is that is a very conscious one, that those materials should be involved and incorporated as well. So for example, just audio recordings of something that otherwise also had a visual element, or specifically projects that are audio based.
Mm-hmm.
Could you say a little bit more about how the archive relates to this kind of specific medium?
First, I want to say, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm really regretting that I never made a picture of Gunnar working. because this is not in the archive now. I think this, first of all, how it came to the archive is already a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody comes in for cage and then hey, there's a record. And I think now we're also talking to present a record in the Appel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at a time or place we don't know yet. So these things happen because of a network around the archive, and I think the network is the most not physical. You know, how do you show this network? Because you cannot. Yeah, how can I say? So, I found postcards from Wie Smals, the founder of the Appel, that she kept contact with the artists for years.
Mm-hmm.
After they did a show and they went back to where they lived, and then there were postcards like, hey, how are you doing? Keeping each other informed. So while being in this, making exhibitions and working with artists, you make this network. And this network is you cannot see. It's also really invisible, There's a card. Oh, there's a card. You send an email. Hey, how are you doing? This is not. It's not. It's like invisible work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when things like this happen, like Gunnar's record comes in a way that's really surprising. These are the things that glue this network together, because this is a dot on this line between Gunnar and Futura Resistenza and the Appel, and then maybe even later the presentation of the record. And I think you need all these things to keep the story, to show this network, and also that this what we're doing now, this makes also, it's a dot in the connection between Gunnar and the janitor and the record. That's not an answer to your question.
It didn't need to be.
No.
Maybe my question was more formal than it had to be, in the sense of thinking in terms of the categories of visual and non-visual. What you're describing is very much Fluxus in that sense, the fluidity of it. I think Willem would be very happy with your answer.
True.
But I understand, and I imagine how, in relationship to the archive, that certainly has never changed. That's a necessary standpoint to have in that somehow. It doesn't necessarily have to be different from the Appel in terms of its visual programming, but this is maybe what I was asking about. Behind the scenes, there is this building.
Yeah.
Something is building constantly. And that necessarily doesn't have to be linear, even in any shape or form.
No.
It's the interconnectedness, like you say.
I think it's never linear. You try to be linear in an archive because this was in 2017, but you see also with Willem de Ridder, it has already been repeated, and he came back in the radio days.
Yeah.
Your show. So then there's already so many connections. And I think, the stories, I think it is important that somebody else came in to give this record. Because this, how a brain works?
Yeah.
If this comes, the Gunnar record comes in by mail, there's a record, okay,
sure,
let's put it in the archive. Because now it has a story, it becomes more of a
part.
Yeah, and also easier to remember. Yeah, there's 18,000 things in the archive. So, all these little stories if they connect, it's like witness reports,
Mm-hmm.
If somebody writes a story about what has been seen in the Appel, then there is I don't know, it went through somebody. And then that makes it also not a thing anymore, but a connection. Does it make sense? Went through somebody. Somebody made...
No, I think I know it. Or at least I understand what you mean by that.
Yeah.
It's the embodiment of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I think also Gunnar, because he left the building, went back to Iceland, but there's still this. This is also what an institute like the Appel is, People come and go, and contact keeping, but not all. Some just, they're gone, and then it also happens.
When you go online and you find information about this album, it does distinctly say that it was made during this period, 17 to 21,
Mm-hmm.
and the janitor's manifesto is in relation to his work as being a janitor in an artistic space where he lived and worked, almost as if to visualize the idea of the labor itself, and perhaps also a bit the building, as you say, the tempo of this mop going from left to right, and this tall man using it skillfully in the depths of the night.
Yeah,
it's a nice image.
It's a nice image, huh? Also, I like, because I'm an archivist, I like cleaning. And then I don't mean I like cleaning because I don't clean my house. But the idea of cleaning has so much to do with cleaning and doing things over and over again. This is like cleaning has that, gardening, eating, and archiving also.
Mm.
You go over and over again. There's a book, there's another book, and then you go. And I like this repeating of things. And especially in cleaning, because also in cleaning, that's what you also do in archiving. You make choices, like which traces am I gonna clean, wipe away,
mm-hmm.
and which not.
Wipe away? What do you mean?
Like if you clean, like if there's you had a nice evening and there was this table full of nice stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was this stain. Like, do you take it away or you keep it for a bit?
Yeah, there's a good story behind most stains.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you keep the stain, where does it go in the archive? How does that work?
Where does it go? That I don't know.
Huh.
You make a picture? I don't know. Or you build a story around it.
If we stay with that anecdote about cleaning, at a certain point when you've cleaned your house enough times, you get to know where the dirty corners come the quickest. Is it the same in the archive as well? Do you know your dirty corners?
Yeah. I know the backlog.
Ah, right.
The backlog. Oh, I know the backlog.
Okay. That's a big corner.
It's a really big corner, yeah.
Well, you have good help.
But we'll get there. But I also I like the word backlog. It is, I know. I even feel sometimes like life is a backlog.
It certainly can be.
Yeah.
Maybe on that note, actually, we'll end with Gunnar, unless you'd like to say something else. No.
No, it's nice. Yeah, maybe we do the titles. Shall I do the titles?
Mention all the titles.
Yeah.
And then, mention all the titles, please.
So, a janitor's manifesto. Side A. I believe in a better world. Flush. A letter to Abba. Janitor. We just heard that. Air Conditioner 1. A midnight choir rehearsal. That's only 53 seconds. And also Flush is only 70 seconds. So I think you have an image for that. A speed dial. Is there anybody out there?
Is that you or me? I thought you turned your phone
I
off
think it's
now.
me. Yeah,
Shame,
I did
shame,
it.
shame.
Security camera. Neurotica. That's me. And then Landslag and an Icelandic title. And Air Conditioner 2, organist rehearsing. That's it. Cultura Resenza, Brussels, Rotterdam.
Well, you mentioned
Beautiful.
that life is a backlog. The track we're going to end with is I Believe in a Better World.
Yes.
Nell, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Han.
Soon, friends, soon, we can finally wiggle our pelvic cavities and somewhat hairy genitalia in the moonlight, again, carelessly and in no particular tempi, just like back in the golden olden days. We'll find a spot somewhere in rural Tuscany. It'll feel just like a Pasolini film. We'll drink espressi by the motorway, where we can smell the sweaty armpits of the waiter, and there will be sweet desire all around us. If we get bored, which is extremely unlikely of course, I'll just call Ralphie from Switzerland and his 4-piece brass band, and they'll play that requiem we all seem to love so very much. What else? I could dress up in a full Elvis costume and you could feed me rotten grapes or apples or burn me with cigarettes on the forehead. I'll do anything to keep us excited, baby, you know that. I'll even go to the opera and contemplate Verdi's use of the oboe, if that's what floats your boat. I believe in a better world. I really. No, but seriously, things are not the same here without you, and our favorite seagull has died. It's withering away in the backyard as we speak. Such a pity. Used to be such a brisk little bird, picking the hot dog breadcrumbs on the harbor. You know there's people out there that would force a Pavarotti comeback only with his earthly remains just because they want it so bad for their birthday. It takes a lifetime to cope with that fact. Takes a lifetime to cope with the new Friends series, where Ross and Phoebe are photocopy machines and Monica carries a snakeskin briefcase full with fruit that tastes like bread. But all jests aside, will you promise me something? That in the case that I never return to my interests in worldly matters ever again, that you will still call recall the wavy-haired florists. You remember the wavy-haired florists and how they marveled at the colors of decay, how the only way to reach their attention was to tell them stories of your own acquaintances with the abyss. You remember, right? Join each other by the crotch or wherever else. Stir for a few seconds, mix, stir again, fold, add some basilicum, and into the oven. Bon appetito! You decide something you can't have. Does it drive a car? Does it look you in the eye? Does it sting? No, and I'm trying to be serious for once. I'm just thinking what everybody is saying. Doom is soon. There's gonna be flood, ladies and gentlemen. The billboards will flood with medieval percussion music, and God, am I gonna be shaking and excited like a perfectly moist can of Pepsi Max. Life is now. We'll throw a big dinner party with all our friends and take beautiful photos. Then we'll need some kids and a big, clean, germ-free house. I have this great citrus acid menthol chloride mega cleaning liquid. When I'm done using that soap, no living thing on this planet Earth will be able to pose a threat to my family. What I mean to say is, baby, show me the way to the next karaoke bar. I'll sing along to all the songs, even if I don't know the tunes. But first, let's have a moment of silence to honor the memory of the tiny basilicum whose only calling in this earthly existence was finally fulfilled, to spice up our focaccia.